The following program is a Town of Colonie television production of the William K. Sanford Town Library.
Hello, I'm Colonie Town Justice Peter Crummy, and welcome to Benchmark. We'll explore a variety of issues involving our legal system, our justice system, and how they intersect with the citizens of the town of Colonie. Today, we are truly fortunate to have two attorneys as our guests. Both attorneys work for the Albany County Bar Association. Jessica Backer-Brand and Lianne Pinchuk are with us today to talk about their service in the Albany County Bar Association and in Albany County Family Court, Albany City Court, and welcome, and thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Jessica, welcome. Leanne, thank you very much for being with us. And the Albany County Bar Association, since its inception and founding in 1900, is certainly a hallmark of the association is to make sure that proper legal representation is enjoyed by the community. And in no uncertain terms, the program that you two run on behalf of our county bar is just another example of the great work that's been done through the county bar over the years. Lianne, you started the program initially with us, the first attorney to provide services. And tell me the nature and extent of the services that you provide through the County Bar Association in various courts.
Sure, Peter. I don't think a half an hour is enough time to talk about all the services we provide, but we do a large number of legal services for clients who sort of fall through the cracks of some other providers. We operate a help desk and help center in family court to provide information and advice to clients who are having trouble navigating family court on their own and who don't have their own attorneys. We also represent tenants facing eviction, not only in Albany City Courts, but in the town courts around Albany within the county, and run a program with the Legal Aid Society of Northeastern New York called Attorney for the Day, where one Friday a month, Albany County Bar Association interns and volunteer attorneys pick up clients on the spot, income qualify them, and represent them in their first appearance when they're facing eviction.
Well, that's certainly a late-breaking development and certainly advantageous to the people that are in the landlord-tenant eviction proceeding usually. Is that right? What's happening down there?
It is. A number of these people come in, they don't necessarily understand their petitions. They have arguments over how much rent is actually due, but they have trouble putting those arguments into terms their landlords will listen to. Sometimes there's been a long-term contentious relationship with the landlord, and interjecting a lawyer in that really helps them negotiate a settlement. And most of our clients walk out with a settlement that either buys them some time or a payment plan or just a way out of the situation rather than an immediate eviction.
Well, you know, I had Judge Peters was a guest on Benchmark within the last year, and we were recounting the opening of the Albany County Help Center, which she and I did in tandem in May 2014, I believe. And that was an expansion of the Albany County Help Desk that the Albany County Bar Association established just 10 years previously. And when the Office of Court Administration was looking upstate to see what kind of court system could help promote a help center, they came to Albany County Bar Association and the Albany County Family Court because we had in place the foundation for what they were seeing as a need here, and we provided that opportunity. And as a result, we have an attorney actually working for the County Bar Association that actually has in-court activity with a variety of clients. And Jessica, you are that attorney, and you find yourself in the family courthouse routinely, actually representing clients in the courtroom. How do they get to you, and what type of cases do you find yourself representing?
Okay. Well, first, many of our clients do come in through the Family Court Help Center. The Help Center is a place where any litigant in family court can go to seek help filling out the petitions. And legal advice is given by volunteer attorneys at the Help Center. Often people need more than advice. They might need actual representation in family court. And assuming they financially qualify for our program, I will provide direct representation to family court litigants. Generally, we take cases involving non-parent custody. There are times in family court where people are afforded the right to an assigned counsel. Oftentimes, non-parents in custody cases are not going to be represented by the public defender or be given a court-appointed 18B lawyer. And so those are really the types of cases primarily that I take in family court.
And there are really cases, Jessica, that are falling through the cracks. Is that correct? And there's a dire need for legal representation, and yet there hasn't been up till now in Albany County Family Court that opportunity to provide the length and breadth of the representation that you're able to do.
Definitely. A lot of my cases involve grandparents who might be raising their grandchildren. For instance, the Department of Youth and Children Service, DCYF, might come in and charge one of the parents with neglect, meaning that they're just not capable of taking care of the children. And so rather than the children going into foster care, another person, often a relative, steps forward and will take custody of the children. And our office can provide representation to those non-parents in the cases. We also receive direct referrals from Community Maternity Services, which is part of Catholic Charities. And Community Maternity Services runs a kinship support group for non-parents raising their grandchildren or other relatives. And so sometimes the caseworkers will contact the Bar Association directly to see if we can provide representation. And again, assuming the non-parent financially qualifies for our services, we can then take on the representation. And the program is somewhat unique in that after the legal case is concluded, we can also help the non-parent obtain other services. We can refer the case back to Catholic Charities, and social workers there might help a grandmother find new housing. She might live in a one-bedroom apartment and now have 2 children living with her, and she'll need to find better housing. Or Catholic Charities might help the non-parent obtain financial assistance that she might need, including food stamps or HEAP. So it's really a two-way streak, and I like to look at it as sort of a holistic approach to legal services.
Well, Jessica and Lianne, I can tell you, now serving as immediate past president of the Albany County Bar Association, how happy we are that you are both with the county bar and providing the services that you have. Each of you bring over 15 years individually of practice experience to the courts that you're serving right now. And of course, Jessica, you graduated from Albany Law School, and Lianne from Columbia University School of Law as well. So we believe we're sending the best and the brightest down to serve those who are traditionally underserved. And Lianne, when you started with us just a couple years ago, when we got these programs going through a grant from the Judicial Civil Legal Services of the state of New York, you were attentive to the help desk. And what's the help desk, and how does that differ from the help center that we opened with Judge Peters?
Sure, Peter. The help desk has been there and started, or has been run for a long time by our pro bono coordinator. And it was a place for mostly law students to come volunteer and see what was happening in family court. Law students now have a mandatory 50 hours of pro bono requirement to get admitted to the Bar of New York. And so the help desk is one of the places where they can meet that requirement. And because they're law students and not lawyers, they're limited in what they can do. They can still provide a tremendous amount of help, but it's in the form of information. They can't answer the "what should I do" type of questions. They can answer the "what's the definition of a petitioner?" I like to tell the students that they can answer any question where the answer could appear on a sign. If it could appear in a dictionary, it could appear on a sign, they can answer it. The Help Center is very different. It's staffed by attorneys who, as attorneys, are allowed to give in-depth advice. They can help people not only fill out their petitions, but decide which petition fits their situation, what are the consequences of each type of petition, how they should proceed, what the next steps they should take are, as well as helping them actually craft the language to fill out their petition.
Well, Lianne, tell me, many attorneys have an opportunity to see Benchmark as well. If they wanted to volunteer their services at the Help Center, how would they do that?
They could contact either me or the Legal Aid Society of Northeastern New York. We have trainings on, I believe there's one on YouTube, and there's an audio tape of our most recent training. The trainings range, the original training from April of 2014 was 4 hours long. We've streamlined it based on experience. The last one was about an hour and a half. I would then meet them at family court their first time to sort of walk them through the process. And I have had people who have been trained, and I've gone with them 3 or 4 times until they're comfortable being in family court, because a number of our volunteers have never been to family court and sort of want to get their land legs, I guess, before
Sure.
being left on their own. Jessica does the trainings as well, and we would be there for as long as they would want us there, and then they could volunteer for as few or as many shifts as they would like. We just ask that people give 2 hours at a time, but it could be 2 hours once a year if they wanted.
Well, it's been a very effective program because a variety of attorneys have volunteered their service down there. I know last week I heard that Judge Teresi was there, who was a former guest on Benchmark as well, and that he was providing his background and experience and wisdom to the program that was created in conjunction with the Albany County Bar Association. You typically work with other partners, though, as well, don't you, Jessica? Are there other agencies and partners that not only worked with us in developing the Help Center, but on a day-to-day basis, you might find that a certain case that comes to you actually might be a good fit for a different agency. Is that true?
Well, correct. Correct, it is, Peter.
Yeah.
We work with Interfaith Partnership for the Homeless, and we go to the shelter on a regular basis and answer legal questions that clients might have. And I have provided direct representation to interfaith clients. We also, as I mentioned before, receive clients from Community Maternity Services and can work directly with CMS and with Interfaith when our clients have needs that extend beyond basic legal needs. We also provide services for residents of the Next Step, which is a rehabilitation facility for women, and they refer clients directly to us. So we definitely have various community partners outside of the legal realm, which I think is fairly unique to the Albany County Bar Association's program.
And Lianne, you've told me that from time to time that not only do we have a prominent presence in the Albany County Family Court, but also in City Court. You've talked about working in summary proceedings, landlord-tenant matters. But you also work in unemployment matters, don't you?
We do.
Tell us about that.
We provide a training for attorneys and for us to work in unemployment proceedings. People who've been denied unemployment benefits for whatever reason can request a hearing in Troy, and the hearings are in a room similar to this one, and while it is a proceeding and it is sort of quasi-judicial, it's certainly not as formal, but it's very scary for people to show up without a lawyer, particularly when there's a lawyer on the other side. And so we provide direct representation to people in unemployment proceedings seeking their unemployment benefits, because otherwise a number of these people would be in a period of no income.
And another interesting type of case, and it's almost hard to imagine the different types of issues that do arise. And if it's not in your sphere, sometimes you don't recognize that it's actually an issue for somebody. And Jessica, you were telling me about a case that you've been involved with where people come to you and they have absolutely no identification, possibly they're homeless, and they're seeking to start to establish themselves and their identities. And you've handled cases like that.
Correct. It's interesting, especially for our interfaith clients, most of whom are homeless. They don't have any identification papers. They don't have a social security card. They don't have a birth certificate. And in order to become eligible for financial assistance or housing, they need some form of identification. And interestingly, a doctor's note is a way to start the process. And we found that we have a doctor's office that we can send interfaith clients to for purposes of the doctor evaluating them and then writing a letter on his letterhead stating that this person is who he states he is X years old, and then the person can take that letter to the local Social Security office and start the process to obtain documents that then will allow him or her to receive financial assistance or various services. And our office is actually working on creating a sort of book of forms that we can give to interfaith so that they know, if this person needs a birth certificate, this is where they go, this is what documentation they should bring, this is the procedure, so that interfaith will be able to, assist the people, assist their clients just on a regular basis with these issues.
Jessica, you also have had a tremendous experience in the Nassau County Family Court. Is that correct?
Yes, I started my career working for the Family Court Bureau of the Nassau County Legal Aid Society.
Do you find the issues are similar in whether it's downstate, Long Island, or whether it's up here, upstate?
Definitely similar issues, and again, I started my career doing that, so over the past decade, I think things have changed drastically. I'm seeing more non-parent custody cases, definitely more same gender issues. 10 years ago, you didn't see as many parents with two mothers or families with two fathers. Right. So that's changed. But unfortunately, definitely still much of the same.
Lianne, one of the another positive program that you touched on already today, but which I really like, is the involvement with the Albany Law School students as well. And they've partnered with the county bar when the help desk was first created nearly 12 years ago now. And it became a one-of-a-kind opportunity in upstate, and really became the model for and the germination process for creating the Help Center. Tell me how you interact with the Albany Law School students and what they can do and how they help as well.
We have a number of points of contact with the law school. We work, as you said, at the help desk. We have volunteers, anybody who's interested in seeing what goes on in family court. And as part of their help desk training, we generally take them to one of the courtrooms while there's proceedings going on so that they could watch sort of where the petitions end up in family court in front of a judge. We also partner with the law school they have a number of law days, Veterans Law Day, Senior Citizens Law Day, and we tend to table at those law days where somebody from the Albany County Bar Association pro bono department will be there to answer questions of people in attendance, and it also puts us out there for the students and the staff at the law school, the students and faculty, to know who we are. We also are in a position where we can call up the pro bono coordinator, I think that's his title, the pro bono coordinator at the law school when we need students to staff any sort of project. In addition to the students volunteering and learning from us while they're in law school, after graduation, any student who finds themselves or any new lawyer who finds themselves unemployed or underemployed is welcome to come volunteer for us, and we'll do our best to find something that fits their interest and educates them during this time period while they're looking for employment.
Well, your efforts and Jessica's efforts on behalf of the Albany County Bar Association and the citizens that you've been serving has been well recognized. In fact, I recall being at an event at the Albany Law School within the last year where our pro bono department and you and Jessica and Eileen, who works in the office as well with you in connection with promoting this program, were recognized by Albany Law School and given an award by Albany Law School. And so it's certainly working. Can you tell us, Lianne, about the numbers of people that you're able to affect and how many people that your pro bono department is meeting with, and then subsequently how many are actually carried on by Jessica right into the courtroom?
Sure, we do keep track of our numbers quite zealously, and one of the things we've looked at is how many what our grantors call cases. These are people who've had significant contact with attorneys. It's not necessarily the case these are not necessarily the type of cases that some people view as cases where we take them to court and litigate them until there's a verdict. But these are clients who we've had significant contact with. Maybe we've done some research for them. We've gotten them an answer to their question. And in the past 6 months, or in the 6 months ending September 30th, we had 368 such cases.
Wow.
I don't have the exact number that Jessica took to family court, sort of in front of judges, but of those 368, about 50 were taken either to in front of a judge in city or town court, or in front of a hearing examiner in unemployment, or in front of a family court judge.
Well, and as a judge, I can tell you that each one of those contacts represents a success, because oftentimes when people come to gain knowledge, they often realize that maybe litigation isn't the right place they need to be or want to be, but they can close their matter or better understand the issue just being assisted at that very level, answering some simple questions. And any judge appreciates that. Courtroom time, as we know, is exceedingly hard to get and exceedingly valuable. And any case that can be managed, or any dispute or misunderstanding that can be managed outside of the courtroom, is a success. Jessica, sometimes you find, though, that the case is going into the courtroom nonetheless, and you've had a variety of those cases this year, and you've been well received down there by the family court judges and the litigants that benefit by your representation. Any common themes you're seeing in your caseload?
Thank you, Peter. Again, I do think this non-parents who are raising children is just becoming more and more common. And under the county law, there's generally no right to an attorney for these people. So those are mostly the types of cases I've litigated in the Albany County Family Court, and they range from, I've represented grandmothers, great aunts, grandfathers. I had a case of a 23-year-old brother who petitioned for custody of his 16-year-old sister and was granted custody of her. I also have represented some people in child support proceedings. Interestingly, there was a client from Interfaith who we were successful in reducing his, he had over $300 a month taken out of his Social Security check for arrears for child support for children who are now in their 40s. And we were able to make application to the local child support unit and have this amount lowered to $50 a month, leaving him with, certainly more money that he could use to cover his basic shelter and food needs. So it really runs the gamut, but I would say that non-parents raising children is somewhat our focus when it comes to handling family court cases.
And you've recognized it may continue to trend on a larger basis too, as child care and child rearing continues to, and the definition of family continues to evolve, I'm sure.
Definitely. We're seeing a lot more non-traditional families than I think I saw doing family court work 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Lianne, you spend time too in the landlord-tenant matters down at typically at the Albany City Court. Is that correct?
Yes.
They manage those cases at City Hall, as I recall. I've actually served as a visiting judge on numerous occasions to serve their court when they needed some assistance. And that's a very busy issue. And what do you find common themes in connection with the landlord-tenant matters that you're asked to step into?
There are a number of common themes. I suppose one of them is that it's very easy to, it's not so easy to evict someone, but it's very easy to do it wrong. And if there's not a lawyer on the tenant side to point out the flaws in the petition or the flaws in service, then it's entirely possible someone is going to get evicted because they're unable to defend themselves, because they don't know that it's been done wrong. So it's very nice for our volunteers and our attorneys who are there for attorney for the day to be able to use these flaws to their advantage in negotiating something to allow the tenant to stay there. Without us, I think a larger number of tenants would be facing eviction. I also find that the judges in city court appreciate us having us there because we're able to explain to the tenant what is going on, what the ramifications of certain things are, and it does make the process go much quicker. As you said, Albany City Court is very busy. Sometimes there are 20 or so evictions scheduled for 9 a.m. on a Friday morning, and if we can resolve a number of those before they're in front of the judge, it really helps everybody. It helps the tenant, it helps the landlords, and it helps the court.
And I don't disagree, because if you can come to a resolution as to a landlord-tenant relationship where the court doesn't have to make that decision and that the parties can make the decision amongst themselves, I think that that is absolutely a success, and you're a very vital part of making that happen. And so we're very happy that you continue. Do you see other needs that eventually we might, it might be important for us to continue to provide services in other areas as well? Have you recognized other areas that seem unmet today so far?
I think our areas can be expanded on. We only do attorney for the day. We do it once a month. The Albany County Bar does it once a month with our volunteer attorneys. Legal Aid Society does it once a month with theirs. I think that, I don't know what happens on Monday through Thursday. In City Court, I'm sure there's just as many evictions. In addition, every time we provide a service to someone, we then find people lined up for that service. Right. So while we might not know where the voids are, as soon as someone comes and says there's nobody to provide the service, all of a sudden we find that there's 20 other people who need that service. That's what happened with the identity documents that Jessica was talking about. It also happens, sometimes people are sent to us from the county clerk's office or from city court because they're given a stack of forms that are supposed to be pro se forms, but these people may be they may not have English as their first language. We've had a number of clients who are illiterate, and these people don't necessarily have anybody with a legal background to turn to explain these things to them. And sometimes they come into our office, and it doesn't necessarily take an attorney. A volunteer student may be able to help them, but there's definitely an unmet need in just helping people navigate the system. And
Jessica, do you see opportunity for further involvement in connection with what you're doing in the courthouse as well?
Oh, definitely. Building on what Lianne was saying, for instance, many of my cases just now are directly referred to me from the various organizations I've mentioned, in addition to which I'm having clients call me to say, oh, their friend told me that I can help them. So much the same as in private practice, it's sort of name recognition. It's definitely spreading, and this is probably exactly my 1-year anniversary being with the Bar Association, and I just see the program continuing to grow in various ways.
Well, and we do that in conjunction with working with others, and certainly that's a hallmark of what the Albany County Bar does, and that's what you're doing on behalf of the County Bar, working with legal aid, public defense, Equinox, Legal Project, a variety of different providers as well, and collectively, good things are happening on behalf of the underserved here in Albany County, for sure. And we're very fortunate to be able to have you here today to talk about some of the issues. And Lianne's right, a half hour doesn't provide the opportunity that we all need and to share the good word of your works in and around the local court system. Of course, I'm going to be asking Lianne to do the same project for the Colonie Justice Court very soon, I hope, if we can ever get her to come out and do an attorney for the day out in Colonie. Our summary proceeding caseload is in the probably about 400 or 500 a year now as well, with a variety of housing opportunities that we have here in the town of Colonie as well. But if somebody wants to get a hold of you two or the office, how would they do that? How would they be able to access you to determine whether they can qualify and whether they have an issue that you can help direct them on? Lianne, what kind of contact information do we provide?
Sure, we provide our phone number everywhere. It's all over Family Court. The clerks hand it out, and I can provide it now. We're at 445-7691, and we're downtown Albany on 112 State Street in the county office building. So we do have a number of walk-in clients. However, if you're a walk-in client, you might not get our attention immediately. We might be with other clients or in court. But we do have people walk in with sort of immediate problems, and somebody in the office will try to help them. We also have a website where they can go to get information both about the county bar in general as well as about our pro bono programs.
And we do have, and would you give the name of our, we have a person who actually is directing matters out of the office, and that's Eileen.
Yes.
Right? And would she be a good contact person or start person as well? I mean, she was at, certainly on the ground floor of what the Albany County Bar Association started to expand on over the last 5 or 6 years, and she has been a vital part of how we can coordinate all of our activities as well.
Yes, and Eileen also does pro se divorces, which we don't touch because they're pro se. But anybody who income qualifies who's looking for a divorce, who doesn't have custody or support issues, she will walk them through the process because that's also a difficult process to do on your own. So people call for that and they call for us, and Eileen sort of directs the calls where they belong.
Well, we're lucky to have her on staff as well as part of the team.
Definitely, definitely.
And Jessica, how are you mostly being able to be contacted at Family Court, or how would you like to be contacted?
Nope, people should contact the Albany County Bar Association. Again, the number is 445-7691. If they just have family court questions, they can ask for the helpline, and that is the same number, and they ultimately will get me, and I can provide some brief advice to people. And this is a service we provide to people who call, and often can end up diverting litigation. Sometimes people have a basic question, or they think they need to file a petition, when in turn they don't. And sometimes just spending 5-10 minutes speaking with a lawyer really helps the process. But in any event, they can call the Bar Association and ask for me or ask for Eileen, and you will get a call back.
Jessica Backer-Brandt, Lianne Pinchuk, with over 30 years of combined legal experience, sharing yourself with the Albany County Bar Association and the underserved population here in Albany County. Thank you for being here with us today to just briefly touch on some of the fabulous work that you're both doing. We're very happy you came here today.
Thank you for having us.
Well, we're thrilled. I'm Colonie Town Justice Peter Crummey, and thank you for joining me on Benchmark.